Hello. Welcome to this listening practice video. Today, I will tell you a story about a trip to the countryside. This story is easy to understand and perfect for beginners like you. Listening is a great way to improve your English skills. When you listen, you learn how words are spoken, how sentences are made, and how English sounds in real life. It also helps you learn new words and phrases. In this video, I will speak slowly and clearly. You can listen carefully, and if you want, you can repeat the words to practice speaking. Are you ready to start? Let's begin the story. A trip to the countryside. Hello. My name is Sarah. I want to tell you a story about a trip I took to the countryside last weekend. It was a wonderful trip, full of nature, fresh air, and peaceful moments. I will tell you everything about my journey, what I did, what I saw, and how I felt. Let's begin. It was Friday evening, and I was sitting in my living room. I was very tired after a long week at work. My friend Emma called me on the phone. She said, "Sarah, do you want to go to the countryside this weekend?" I thought for a moment and said, "Yes. That sounds like a great idea." I started to prepare for the trip. I packed my backpack with clothes, a water bottle, snacks, and a small book. I also took my camera because I love taking pictures of nature. I went to bed early that night because I wanted to wake up fresh and ready for the adventure. The next morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. I got ready quickly. I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and ate a light breakfast. I had toast with jam and a cup of tea. At 7 a.m., Emma arrived at my house. She was driving her car. We started our journey. The drive to the countryside was about 2 hours. On the way, we listened to music and talked about many things. The road was quiet, and the weather was sunny. I looked out of the window and saw green fields, small houses, and cows grazing in the fields. It was very beautiful. At 9 a.m., we arrived in the countryside. The air was fresh and cool. I could hear birds singing in the trees. There were no tall buildings, no traffic, and no noise. It was so peaceful. The first thing we did was park the car near a small wooden house. It was a guest house where we planned to stay. The owner of the house, Mrs. Brown, greeted us with a big smile. She said, "Welcome to my home. I hope you enjoy your stay." She showed us our room. It was simple but cozy, with 2 beds, a small table, and a window that looked out onto a garden. After putting our bags in the room, Emma and I decided to explore the area. We walked along a narrow path that went through a forest. The trees were tall, and their leaves made a soft rustling sound in the wind. I felt very calm as I walked. We reached a small river. The water was clear, and I could see fish swimming. We sat on the riverbank and dipped our feet in the cool water. It felt refreshing. I took some pictures of the river, the trees, and the blue sky. At noon, we were feeling hungry. Mrs. Brown had given us a picnic basket. We found a quiet spot by a lake to eat lunch. The lake was surrounded by tall grass and wildflowers. The water was so still that it looked like a mirror. In the picnic basket, there were sandwiches, apples, cookies, and a bottle of lemonade. The sandwiches were delicious, filled with fresh vegetables and cheese. Emma and I talked and laughed as we ate. After lunch, we lay on the grass and looked up at the sky. The clouds were big and fluffy, and they moved slowly. I felt so relaxed and happy. After resting, we decided to go on a hike. We followed a trail that led to a hill. The trail was a little steep, but we walked slowly. On the way, we saw many interesting things. There were colorful butterflies flying around, squirrels climbing trees, and even a rabbit hopping across the path. When we reached the top of the hill, the view was amazing. We could see the entire valley below. There were green fields, small farms, and a winding river. The sun was shining, and everything looked bright and beautiful. I took more pictures and stood there for a long time, enjoying the view. On our way back, we passed a farm. The farmer, Mr. Johnson, was very friendly. He invited us to see the animals on his farm. We saw cows, goats, chickens, and a big brown horse. Mr. Johnson let us feed the animals. I gave some hay to the goats, and Emma fed the chickens. The animals were very gentle and friendly. The horse even let me pet its nose. It was soft and warm. By the time we returned to the guest house, it was evening. Mrs. Brown had prepared a wonderful dinner for us. She served roasted vegetables, homemade bread, and a warm vegetable soup. For dessert, we had apple pie with fresh cream. It was the best apple pie I had ever tasted. After dinner, we sat outside on the porch. The sky was dark, and we could see thousands of stars. It was so quiet that I could hear the sound of crickets and the wind in the trees. I felt peaceful and grateful for such a beautiful day. The next day, I woke up early to watch the sunrise. I walked to the garden and found a bench to sit on. The sky changed from dark blue to pink and orange as the sun came up. It was so beautiful that I took a picture to remember the moment. After breakfast, Emma and I decided to take one last walk before leaving. We went back to the forest and walked slowly, enjoying the fresh morning air. I picked a few wildflowers to take home with me. At 10 a.m., it was time to leave. We said goodbye to Mrs. Brown and thanked her for her kindness. We also said goodbye to the peaceful countryside. The drive back home was quiet. Emma and I talked about our favorite moments from the trip. I said my favorite part was the view from the hill. Emma said I loved feeding the animals on the farm. When I got home, I felt refreshed and happy. I unpacked my bag and looked at all the pictures I had taken. Each picture reminded me of the beautiful moments I had experienced. This trip made me realize how much I love the countryside. It is so different from the city. In the city, there is noise, traffic, and stress. But in the countryside, there is peace, nature, and time to relax. I learned that it is important to take a break from busy life and spend time in nature. It helps me feel calm and happy. I hope to visit the countryside again soon, and maybe I will stay for a few more days next time. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new today. Listening to English every day can help you improve quickly. If you liked this video, try to listen again and practice saying the sentences. You can also write down new words and use them in your own sentences. Don't forget to share your favorite part of the story in the comments. I will see you next time for more English listening practice.
Bye!
For now, and keep learning English.